Hey guys, Dave here from Bam Bam Music. Today we're going to talk about how to choose your beginner guitar. Firstly, you need to ask yourself, do I want to play an acoustic guitar or do I want to play an electric guitar? And what sort of type of music do I want to play out of those types of guitars? You certainly can learn on both, but there's two main factors you need to think about, and that's your age and also your taste in music. If you're a young beginner, say under the ages of 10 or 12, we'd recommend getting a nylon string guitar or a classical guitar, and there's two main benefits of this type of guitar for the young beginner. Firstly, nylon string guitars tend to come in multiple different sizes, so you've got your quarters, your half size, your 3/4 size, and your full size. The smaller sizes are much better for young beginner because they actually fit in the hands, the neck fits in the hand, as well as the body isn't too big for the player. So if you get a full-size body, say you lash out $500 and you buy a nice big dreadnought size steel string guitar, or even a full-size nylon string guitar, it's going to be too big. Their hand won't fit around the neck and the body's going to be too big, so they're going to lose interest immediately and you've just wasted all your money. Secondly, the strings that come on a nylon string guitar are nylon strings. They're much looser and softer than that of steel strings on a steel string guitar. So little kiddie fingers can actually push them down. If you tried as a young beginner or even as an adult beginner, if you've never played guitar before, trying to play a steel string acoustic guitar, they'll quickly fatigue and hurt your fingertips, and you'll just stop playing because of that reason. So even as an adult that can happen. Me, for example, personally, I played electric guitar for a couple of years before I picked up a steel string acoustic, and it was just murder on my fingers. So that sort of thing really needs to be worked up to, so young kiddie fingers have no chance. If, say, you're older than, like, say 10 or 12 and you want to go for a full-size guitar, then you can still, but it really kind of comes down to your musical taste then. But let's just say you don't know what your musical taste is yet, you're just diving into music. I would recommend getting a full-size nylon string guitar because then it's still nice and soft on your fingers, but you're old enough, big enough to be able to get your hand around that neck and around the body. But do be careful because nylon string guitars, classical guitars, tend to have a very wide neck on them. So if you've got short fingers, then it can still be pretty hard to get around that neck. However, the strings will still be nice and soft, so you won't be killing your fingers on the steel string acoustic. Nylon string guitars are also a great option for the first-time beginner because they're quite cost effective. You can get a full-size acoustic guitar with a bag and bits and pieces for around about $89, generally speaking. So that's a great non-committal way of getting your first guitar. If you're unsure of whether you want to keep playing it, that's the best way to go, so you don't end up spending a couple $100 on something you might not play forever. If, again, you are an older player and nylon strings, sort of classical type guitars isn't really your thing, the world is kind of your oyster, but like I said, going for a steel string acoustic guitar could be a bit hard on your fingers. And often people, especially beginners, way prefer to play an electric guitar because it's a lot more fun. You've got some really cool distortion effects and sound effects you can get through your amplifier, plus multi-effects pedals and things like that. Also, the body's nice and small, the neck's generally nice and thin, so they are generally super easy to play. And a lot of people say, no, you shouldn't start an electric guitar, but of course you can start on whatever you want. I started playing an electric guitar. I actually found it very beneficial for those reasons I mentioned just earlier. Electric guitars also come in tons of different colors and finishes as well too, so you can really get a good feeling and makes you love the guitar. Also too, most beginner packs will come with everything you need, so you'll have an amplifier, because don't forget, if you get an electric guitar you will need an amp. Plus you'll get a bag, you get some spare strings, a tuner, all that sort of stuff, so everything you physically need is in most beginner packs. Let's say you want to spend a little bit more money, because most beginner packs are just over a couple $100, but let's say you want to spend a little bit more money and get something a bit nicer. We actually do custom packs here, so you pick a guitar you like, we can recommend, or you can pick an amplifier that you like to go with it. Then we'll just work out great deals, bargains on like the bags, spare strings, picks, tuners, all that sort of stuff. We can throw that in and make you a custom pack. A little bit more on electric guitars when you're first starting out is have a look at the kind of pickups that are in there. For example, this Ashton pack comes with the humbucker in the bridge, plus 2 single coils in the neck in the middle there. The Squire packs, for example, generally come with a single coil in the bridge. If you're an absolute beginner, and even if you're a young beginner or even an absolute beginner as an adult, I wouldn't worry too much about what pickup's in there. Just find the one that's in your price range that you like the look of and you like the feel of, most importantly, and go with that one. If you're a little bit more conscious of what sort of sound you're after, say you only want to play heavy metal, then you want to get something with a humbucker in the bridge like that, so you can get those really nice chunky distortion tones. If you mainly like playing like cleaner tones and that sort of stuff, then you want to go something with a single coil in the bridge. But like I said, as an absolute beginner, it's not going to sway you too much in the decision of which guitar to pick. On the other side, you've got the steel string acoustic guitars, like I mentioned earlier. If you're willing to persist with few months of really sore fingers and get through it. They're more for the purist out there, so you don't need an amplifier, you don't really need anything. All you need is your hands and the actual guitar. You can do finger picking style, or you can buy like a 70-cent guitar pick to go along with it. Maybe a gig bag or something like that, but gig bags are usually thrown in, especially with the beginner packs, or if we do you a deal on a more expensive acoustic guitar, then you generally get a bag for free, maybe upgrade to a hard case or something like that. But they're super simple because you spend all your money just on the guitar. You don't have to worry about paying for an amplifier or anything like that else on top of it. The best part about picking a steel string acoustic guitar for a beginner is there are tons of them these days. They can range anywhere from $200 for a decent guitar right up to $1,000. And obviously you got to depends on where you're at and how serious you are about playing, whether it's for a child or whether it's for an adult, how much you want to spend between that $200 to $1,000 range. Around that sort of $500 range are some really nice acoustics, because that's where you start getting solid wood tops on them. A solid wood top generally has a much deeper, richer sound, and also they tend to last a bit of a while longer because of that solid wood, as opposed to a laminate top or a laminate body, which is on some of the cheaper guitars. Also too, almost every guitar in that price bracket comes with a pickup, a built-in tuner, and a cutaway. That's one of the main things you need to look out for on a guitar, is a cutaway. And a cutaway is essentially this part just here on the guitar. So it's cut away from the body so that when you're playing it, you can get your hand up nice and close here. Otherwise, without the cutaway, you can only get to about there on the guitar, and you won't be able to actually reach those higher frets. Cutaways are generally found on every single beginner acoustic guitar, unless it's specifically missing it on purpose for a certain sound-wise thing. A lot of guys who like more expensive guitars tend to opt to not get the cutaway on the guitar because they like the fullness of the body that it gets. But on the cheaper made guitars, it's not going to do a lot to the actual sound of the guitar, and I wouldn't worry about it. I'd get the cutaway just for the ease of use. So that pretty much covers it for all the different types of beginner guitars there are out there, whether it be a small scale nylon string acoustic guitar for a young beginner, or an electric guitar with an amplifier package, or a steel string acoustic guitar with a solid top or a laminate top. There's tons of different options, we understand that, and that's why we're here to help you out. If you are unsure, just come into us, we'll ask you all sorts of questions, and then we can figure out what kind of guitar you need to get, also for the price bracket that you're looking for. Whether it be for a young child, you might want to go something a little bit cheaper so you're not spending too much money on something they might give up, but also you want to get something that's good enough to make them not want to give up. You don't want to get them, and then on the same token, like I said before, don't get them like a big steel string acoustic guitar. If they've got young kiddie fingers, they're not going to be able to play it properly, and even though you spent $500, they're not going to like it because they can't play it, and they're going to give up straight away. So we'll help you point you in the right direction and get the right product for the right player. Cheers guys, have a good one.